Good morning and welcome back to Public Affairs on Peach. You know, this week we were taking a look at child safety and how you can teach your child at home to not be a victim of a kidnapper. Rad Kids is a program that empowers and teaches children to replace fear and panic with confidence and personal safety skills. And they hold workshops and events that teach kids how to fight back and get away from an attacker. Take a look at this. There you go, some pretty incredible video. Mary Ellen Fulkus is a national certified Rad Kids instructor, and she's here with us this morning. Mary Ellen, good morning. Good to have you here.
Good morning. Thank you.
We have done stories on Rad Kids before, and I think it's a great program. And I will say, why do you feel that there is a need, right, for parents to have their kids do this? Or do you feel that some parents don't want to acknowledge the fact that this is something that every child needs?
Right. Unfortunately, I guess there are some parents that feel that way, but usually they just don't really understand the full program, and it is an educational program that has defensive moves that children learn. It's a 10-hour full curriculum. So when you're seeing those images of the children, that's the dynamic simulation. That's a component of Rad Kids, but it's so much more than that. And it does empower the child. I would say to all parents out there, every child deserves to be safe. Every child deserves to know how to keep themselves safe. We know we can't be with them 24/7. We need to give them the skills and tools and the training they need to keep themselves safe so they can respond to any dangerous situation, whether it be they're an emergency, maybe they're hurt at home and they need to call 911, or if they're walking to school and someone approaches them and makes them feel uncomfortable, or maybe is trying to trick them. For every scenario, children with the education they can get in Rad Kids can learn how to deal with that. They are training. The whole program is based on learning development and how the brain learns best. So training the brain through those skills, drills, and running when their adrenaline's pumping is going to help them react and respond and escape danger in any situation.
What, if you had to say, was the #1 thing that you have to push when a child comes to Rad Kids? What's like the #1 thing? What's the first thing that a child learns?
It's very basic.
Yeah.
The first thing a child learns is that they are special and no one has the right to hurt them. There are 3 Rad Kids principles. That's the first one. The second is, because I'm special, other people are special, I can't hurt anyone else unless they try to hurt me or trick me, then I can stop them. And children learn through Rad Kids how to stop them and how to get away. The last principle, #3, is if anyone does hurt me, trick me, or make me feel bad inside, it's not my fault, so I can tell. That "so I can tell" piece is huge with children.
Huge.
We know today 1 in 5 girls and 1 in 8 boys are going to be sexually victimized before the age of 18. They need to learn that #1, that's not okay, it's wrong, and that they can always tell and get the help they need.
Yeah, because a lot of kids, out of fear, they don't say anything.
You're right. It's out of fear, and they also feel that they're at fault. They feel that it's their fault. Children really need to learn through the eyes of a child that it's not their fault. It's never their fault if someone's trying to hurt them or trick them.
You know, we were watching at the beginning of the show, we saw this incredible video of a young girl at I believe at a Target or a Walmart. She was in the toy aisle, right? This Melanie Baxter. And this guy comes in, very brazen, right? Goes into a store and just grabs her, a total stranger, and takes her. And we saw in that video that this girl was yelling and kicking and screaming. And you, as somebody who goes around and teaches these kids, I mean, that has to be a sheer example of what to do.
Yes, it is. Brittany did everything absolutely right. Immediately, she started screaming and kicking. That saved her life. She did everything right. She was a Rad Kid in her heart, in her mindset. She had the mindset that we want all children to have. How dare you touch me? Instead of freezing up with fear and thinking, help me, help me, help me, how dare you touch me? And that saved her life. Viewers might remember there was a story on Carly Bruscia, a 12-year-old in Florida, I believe back in 2004, that was walking through a car wash gas station. And they caught that on video surveillance. The man came up to her, said something to her, so he kind of took control and took an authority level. Then he went like this, led her away. And you can see she's just freezing up with fear. She doesn't know how to react or respond. Rad Kids is the only program, safety education program in the U.S. that deals with this.
The actual physical action and the reaction to when
Yes.
something happens, rather than, and I think this is the point. What I really like personally about the Red Kids program is that it's not just you sitting down saying, okay, if a stranger comes up to you, this is what you say, or you know this. If a stranger comes up to you, no, it's if a stranger comes up to you, this is what you do, rather than just this is what you do in that, what you say in that scenario. You're actually teaching them the physical tools to get away.
Exactly, and you're also educating them. Children need the education that there are good and bad people. We try to get away from the stranger scenario, because if you ask a child what a stranger looks like, they're going to tell you they wear dark clothes, they might have a beard, they look scary. Sometimes they don't consider an average-looking person to be a stranger that may want to harm them. So we say to judge people on their actions, if they're good or bad. If they're coming too close to you and invading your personal space, then you need to go away. If they're asking you to do something, help you with, may you tell me directions, or help me find my last puppy or kitten, or I would like to take your picture, or I have a game for you in my car. If they're asking you for any help or asking you to come somewhere with them, children learn that that could be a bad person. I need to get away, and trust their gut instincts.
And we were talking about how such a low percentage of kids actually say something, and that's such a big part of your program, is to teach kids that if something bad happens to me, to tell somebody. And the interesting part, though, is that what Gary was saying is that most kidnappings, most abuse cases come from someone the kid knows.
Correct.
Already, which I would understand that would be harder for a kid to go to a parent to say, hey, so-and-so did this to me, because they know them, and they know their parents may know who that person is. How do you break that barrier with a kid?
Well, they use a book called Sam's Secret that is from a child's perspective of someone else trying to hurt him, and how he goes through and he learns, I'm special, it's okay to tell, and it's going to be all right. Reading that book alone, within the Rad Kids curriculum, they have had over 5,000 disclosures of sexual abuse, and those children have received the help they needed. So it's really the messaging and the 3 principles that they have to know they are special. They have to know it's okay to tell. And parents need to use that continuing dialogue with their children and say, sometimes their children are scared that mommy and daddy are going to get mad at me. They think that it's going to be their fault that they let this happen to them. I have girls myself. I tell them all the time, you can always come to me for anything. If something is making you upset or feel bad, I'm here to help you. I'm never going to get mad at you. I'm always going to help you. And parents use that messaging often.
All right, Mary Ellen Focus, I appreciate your time with us this morning from Rad Kids, a great organization doing some great things. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right. Stay with us. We're coming right back to wrap up the show.